Hi, ladies. I am so excited to be back here with you on Tuesday. Today's topic is a happiness list. Now, some of you have been through some of this with me in the past, in other mentors that have shared this with us at the same time, but this has made the biggest difference in my life. So I am so excited to share with you the number one tool, and more than a vision board, which is my favorite tool, more than anything else that I can possibly think of, this is the number one tool that I feel will be most effective in your journey to joy. So if you do nothing else for this program, I know a few of you have already shared your vision boards with me and they look spectacular. I love where you guys went with those. If you haven't done yours or haven't finished yours, please, please, please do that. But even more important than that is this week's lesson, the happiness list. That to me is a non-negotiable, like must-do tool to have in your back pocket for a journey to joy to be successful. So far we've talked about routine and creating a routine that is supportive of your values and fitting into your day the things that are most important to you. And we've talked about your vision, so looking ahead into the future. And we've talked about your reflection on your past and your present. So this week, although a happiness list to you might sound fluffy, easy, kind of a break from the work that we'll be diving deep into in the weeks ahead, learning about our habits and discovering what our beliefs are and potentially changing habits and beliefs that no longer serve us. That can get really, I love the work, but it is work. So it can feel hard at times. It can even feel heavy at times. So this week might feel a lot lighter than that, a lot easier than that. But do not be fooled. This is the start that I think is absolutely necessary. So don't skip this. Definitely dive deep starting now with your happiness list. So if you're not familiar with what a happiness list is, I want to clarify that this is different than your vision board. It's different than a bucket list. It's different than a wish list. But it's equally a tool as is a vision board. And it can be influenced by your values list, but it's even different than that. So while your values lists are the big umbrella concepts that will guide you, and while a vision board is the looking ahead kind of wish list thoughts of what makes you happy, what brings joy, what your goals are, the happiness list is truly exactly what it sounds like. It's a list of things that make you happy. The key to it is to include things that can be done almost any day. So rather than it being like buying a Lamborghini, maybe you'll have buying a lip gloss. It's something that even on the most minimal budget, with the most minimal amount of time, is typically possible on any given day. And it's something that brings you joy, happiness. It's your happiness list. It's a go-to list of things that if you're having a shit day, will bring you happiness. And I invite you to share in the group a list of 10 things. But I invite you personally, mine is typed on a computer, single spaced, size 12 font. Every single line on a 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper is another item. So however many that is, I don't know, 30 maybe. But the more on there, the better. Maybe it's 100, maybe it's only 10. But the more on there, the more options you have. So I invite you to take some time and really think about what is on your happiness list and actually type it out, either the 10 that you share in the group or a full list on a computer or your journal, just a note piece of paper. Mine is actually posted as a printout on my dresser. So it's not visible on a daily basis, but it is present, so that if ever I'm having a day where I'm just like, you know what, nothing's going right, or for some reason I'm in a horrible mood and I need to fix it as soon as possible before it starts affecting the people around me, I have it readily available. I don't have to look through a file folder or get on my laptop and have screen time. It is a printout available on the side of my dresser, so no one else probably even knows it's there, but I do, and I do refer to it from time to time. So examples from my list, just to give you some brainstorming on where you might go with this. Simple things: sunshine, drinking more water, my green tea or lemon water in the morning, going for a walk outside, watching the sunrise or sunset, being out in nature, being outdoors, cheesecake, dark chocolate. So simple things that on any given day, for the most part, are available to me, are things that I can easily make time for, have the resources to do. So what would be on your list? What is your happiness list? And like I said, this to me is non-negotiable as far as creating this list for us to move forward with the work that we need to do in your journey to joy to be successful. Because as we dive deeper into the stuff that gets maybe a little more uncomfortable, a little more difficult, there's gonna be times where it affects your mood. And you need to be able to lift yourself out of a funk at a moment's notice. Whether you've got clients that depend on you, children in the house, a spouse or a significant other, that their mood might be affected by how you present yourself, the energy that you exude. And the quickest way to change that energy, the vibration that you are vibing on at any given day, is to refer to your happiness list and do as many of those things as you can cram into the time remaining of that day, so that you increase your happiness. And it's easy to do several at once. Like, I can make myself, green juice and go for a walk, take the dogs for a walk around the block. So I'm getting in exercise, I'm getting in sunlight, I'm getting in nature, I'm getting in hydration, all within a 5-minute walk around the block. I fit a lot of those in. It can be indulgences. I believe in everything in moderation. I don't think there's anything truly bad for us if it brings us joy. It's just everything in moderation. So yes, chocolate is on my list. Cheesecake is on my list. Sex is on my list. A massage is on my list. So indulgences, what brings you joy when you indulge in those things? A glass of champagne to celebrate something exciting, a glass of red wine to wind down at the end of the day. Whatever it is, it's one thing if it becomes something that you use as a crutch. Every day you're doing that one thing, like every day you're having that piece of dark chocolate or that glass of red wine. Then it's becoming a crutch. It's no longer just a moment of joy, a tool for joy. You're no longer using it, it's using you. So be careful of that line, but everything in moderation. Know what brings you joy and know how to include it in your daily life. And if you're having a bad day, bad week, bad month, whatever it is, check in with yourself. How long has it been since I've done a good number of these things on this list? And if it's been a while, start adding them in. Make a conscious, intentional effort to include more of those things in your daily routine. And now some of these may be represented on your vision board. Your vision board may have exercise or healthy foods or outdoor images. So some of them may be represented there, but it's not as far-reaching as a vision board. It's not as forward-thinking. It's immediate. What can I do right now to change my mood? What can I do right now to make myself more happy? So here's why we do this. Here's why it's important. 2 things I can think of that make a huge difference in a woman's life. One is your monthly cycle. And even if you are no longer menstruating, I still believe that we go through a monthly cycle. Maybe it syncs up with the moon, maybe you're on your own, but I do believe every feminine woman is on a cycle. And within that cycle, there's always a dip. For me, it's actually a bigger dip because as my estrogen goes down, as before I start my period, my serotonin also goes down. So that's my happiness hormone. And I have to regulate it by doing things off of my happy list just to maintain the status quo of my vibrational level that I prefer to maintain. So I use it on a monthly basis, just whether it's subconsciously or consciously looking at the list. But I know that there is that, what I consider out of the 4 seasons of my month, my fall season is right before my winter bleeding. And I become much more analytical, critical of myself and others around me. I don't have that happiness hormone flowing through me to elevate me through things that normally wouldn't bother me, that I could probably not notice or ignore or just wouldn't be a big deal. Suddenly I take personal, I become defensive, I am sensitive to things that normally wouldn't offend or hurt me. And so this list becomes imperative to me, taking ownership of my happiness. So the second time in a woman's life second thing in a woman's life that I think this list comes in handy is when you're in relationship. Whether that's with your clients, with your friends, with your significant other, in relationship, whether it has anything to do with your cycle or not, there's an ebb and flow of the energy within that relationship. And when it tends to be a lull, a lower point in that relationship, if a woman hasn't empowered herself to own her own happiness, to take ownership of the responsibility for her happiness, she will look to others. She will look to her job or her significant other or her, friends and acquaintances to make her happy. And to have a happiness list empowers you to know that not only are you able at a given, any day, moment's notice to do something to make yourself happiness, but you are taking ownership of that responsibility. And that is the most empowering thing I think a woman can do, is to take ownership of her happiness, so that she's not looking for a man to make her happy. She's not looking for a dream job to make her happy. She's not looking to have the dream home or lifestyle or connections or money. None of that is what makes her happy. She has the power to make her happy. And it's these little things that she can add into her day that don't take a lot of time, don't take a lot of money, and don't really take anyone else. So everything on my list, other than obviously sex with my husband or playing with, my son or having lunch with girlfriends, there are things in there that involve collaboration with other people, but most of my list are things I can do by myself, for myself. And a lot of them are what we'll get into in another week, talking about reconnecting to your source energy, refueling. So a lot of them are things that I consider refueling, re-energizing. But some of them are just playful. They're just fun. They're just something that's going to trigger something in me that changes my mood. So I invite you, whether it's to alleviate any symptoms that you might have with a monthly cycle, or alleviate any symptoms you might have with the relationships you have in your life and other people maybe not living up to expectations that you have of them or desires that you have for them to do for you, you can do this for yourself. And it makes it so much easier to make decisions based on your values when you're not in a place of lack or need or want of someone else to make you happy. When you're already filling your own cup, you can start making decisions from your most empowered self, so that you're not staying in a relationship that might be harmful to you or your desired lifestyle. You're not staying in a job that might be less than desirable or not recognizing your full contribution or abilities. So it allows you to make decisions from the best version of yourself if you're making yourself happy. And it is your responsibility. I fully believe that even married, even with kids, all of that, like in my life, I, at the end of the day, am the one that's responsible for my happiness. And I can tell my husband if something he does makes me feel a certain way, and he can respond to that however he might, but at the end of the day, I am choosing to respond a certain way. I am choosing to be triggered and either work on what's triggering me or lower my vibration based on what's triggering me. So I take ownership, and I empower you ladies to take ownership of your happiness. It is the most important thing you can do on your journey to joy. It is the most important tool you can use as we go through some of the things that are a little more difficult as we work towards our journey to joy. And honestly, it's just fun. It's just nice to know that, whether it's having a bottle of champagne always in your fridge, just in case there's something to celebrate, even if what you're celebrating is that you have a bottle of champagne in the fridge. Whatever it is, put it on your list. Share at least 10 of those with us. And I encourage you to make the list even longer and post it somewhere or have it somewhere readily available so that the next time you're feeling low, you can refer to it and fit as many things off of that list into your day in a moment's notice, be able to change your mood. All right? So today is all about happiness. This week I'll continue to post journal prompts and questions for engagement from you guys on the Facebook group page to encourage sharing what's on your happiness list, adding things to your happiness list, and really being self-aware of what makes you happy. Some things on there might be surprising to you that as you go throughout the next few weeks, keep it open to interpretation. So if you have 10 right off the bat, leave it open for the next 30 days to just add to it as things come about. Maybe it's candy corn, and you never would have thought of that except it's October, and they just are something that makes you joyful. Maybe it's gathering with people that are important to you around the holidays, and so you want to add that to your list as that becomes apparent to you over the next few weeks. Maybe it's a project that you get handed to you in the next couple weeks through your job, or something that you might volunteer, and all of a sudden you realize you're really enjoying doing this. So distill it down to the most simple part of the project that is something you can do for yourself any day. So it doesn't have to be, I want more, big projects like that. It's being creative, being artistic, being whatever it is that you get joy out of from that project. Distill it down to something you can do for yourself today, anytime. Now, and have that list available as we go through the rest of this. So again, this is a tool. It may be influenced by the values list that you created a while back. It may be posted similarly like the vision board that you created, but it is more immediate. It is requires less resources and is more immediate, and you can take ownership. So while vision board is a possibly longer, long-term development, this is right here, right now. You can go buy yourself a piece of chocolate. You can, go invest in a massage. You can take yourself for a walk. And it could be slightly longer, like a day at the beach. Maybe you can't do that at 4 o'clock today, but you can aim to do it this weekend or at least this month. So just know that there are things that really bring you joy and are available to you at a relatively quick moment's notice. All right, I think that's all I have for you today. Keeping it short and simple. I think our next call for our group call will likely be around lunchtime on Saturday. So hopefully that works for some of you that haven't been on more recently. And as always, I'll record it and you can join at your own convenience to watch that replay. And I think that's it. I love you ladies so much. I hope you're getting a lot out of this. I truly believe, though, that this is the number one tool in your journey to joy. So do not put this off. Do not skimp on actually creating this. Make it something post-worthy, not only in our group, but on your wall or in your journal to refer to often. All right? I love you. Let me know what this resonates with you and how you're thinking about your happiness and what that looks like. Please share. Talk to you soon.